Alright, in this lesson we're going to take a look at 2.4a, which is modeling with quadratic functions. To start off with, we're going to take a look at quadratic functions and first be able to come up with the equation of them. Now there's three different scenarios that we're going to be looking at for today. First off is when you're given a point and a vertex. So when you're given the point and a vertex, we want to use vertex form to help us find the a term and then put everything together in forming our equation using the vertex form of y is equal to a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. So this is specifically used when we have a point and the vertex. The second scenario we're going to look at is when we're given a point and the x-intercepts of p and q. So then we're going to use the intercept form of y is equal to a, and then we have x minus p, and then the quantity of x minus q. And then the third situation is when you're given 3 points, and then you just write and solve the system of 3 equations in 3 variables, which we actually looked at in chapter 1. Later on, when we split this up into 2 sections in 2.4b, then we're going to look at tables and begin to analyze the data and then be able to come up with the equation that best suits the given data. So let's start off and take a look at number 1. It says write an equation of the parabola in vertex form. I look at number 1 and I see the vertex and I see a point on that parabola. So in that case, remember in our first core concept, it says let's go ahead and use the vertex form. So y is equal to a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. So I look at the function and I see right here that that looks to be the vertex, and so h is 2, k is negative 2. So let's go ahead and start plugging those things in here. So h, we have x minus 2, and then we're going to go ahead and put right here minus 2 for k. So then we still have several variables here. The first variable that I see is, we have y and x. So where am I going to get that? Those y and x, or x and y, right there happen to be the point on the actual parabola itself. So I'll go ahead and label 4x and 6y, and let's go ahead and plug that in. So I got 6 is equal to a, and that's what we're going to actually have to find first. Let's set up the rest of the equation, and we can solve things out. Make sure you use your order of operations, simplify, and let's solve for a. So I'll go ahead right here, I'll add 2 to both sides, and I'll end up with 8 is equal to a, and then 4 minus 2 is 2, so I have 2 squared. So let's go ahead and simplify this even further. 2 squared is 4, so 8 is equal to 4a. Divide both sides by 4, and a is equal to 2. And there you have it. We have now found a. So now we can go ahead and just plug everything back in, set up our equation in vertex form. And so y is equal to a, which we plug in for 2. We have x minus h, or x minus 2 for your vertex, quantity squared. And then we have ourselves minus 2. And this now is your function in vertex form. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 2. So same thing. Okay, we have ourselves a point and the vertex of our function. So we can go ahead and put y is equal to a, and then we have x minus h quantity squared plus k. All right, we're going to use this equation, and let's start plugging things in. Remember, on this one, h is 0, k is 3. So we can go ahead and put x minus 0 for h. And it's not shifting horizontally, so hopefully that all makes sense. And then we put plus 3 right here because it's shifted upwards. And then we can go ahead and start adding in the point here. And so x is 2, y is 1. So I have 1 is equal to a. 2 minus 0, quantity squared plus 3. Let's make sure we use your order of operations correctly. I'll go ahead and subtract 3 to both sides, and I have negative 2 is equal to a. And then 2 minus 0 squared is 4. So we got ourselves 4a, or a times 4. We'll divide both sides by 4, and a is equal to negative 1/2. All right, so lastly, we put our whole function together, and y is equal to 1/2, or negative 1/2 actually, since that's a. And then we have ourselves, I could put x minus 0, but remember, that is going to be x. So we can go ahead negative 1/2, then we have x squared, and then we go ahead and put plus 3, and there's your function right here. All right, when you take a look right here at next up at number 3, okay, all things are the same except they don't tell you exactly, they don't give you a graph. So you should be able to create the function. Remember, for right here for number 3, the point, or passes through this point, so 3 and 0 would be your x and y. Vertex is -1, -8, and there you have h and k. So you should be able to take the numbers here, plug them in, and then solve things out, just like what you did for numbers 1 and 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look next up at number 5. Our equation is a little bit different this time. Okay, it says write an equation of the parabola in intercept form. Okay, so remember intercept form. We're using right here our equation of y is equal to a, and then we have ourselves x minus p times x minus q. All right, so one of the intercepts, if we take a look at number 5, -4, 0, we can go ahead and we can say that one of these points, or the -4, would represent p, and we could say over here the 6 would represent q. So now we have to think, all right, if you work backwards, you got to imagine this. How am I going to get -4 from this equation? Remember, essentially you're taking x minus p and setting it equal to 0. So if I want to get -4 as an answer, where x is equal to -4, what I have to go ahead and do right here is plug in +4 into that part of the equation. So we have y is equal to a, and we'll just go step by step, and I have x, and I'm going to put +4, right? Because when I take this binomial, I set it equal to 0, I will get -4 right here, which is p. Next up, I've got myself, I'll put x, and then in order for me to get +6, I'm going to have to put x minus 6, because when I set this equal to 0, you're going to get +6. And there is your p and q. We still have some holes here because I need to know what the a term is. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take the point that we have, and we could use this vertex right here, and that'll be your x and your y. So we have 1 is x, 25 is y, so 25 is equal to a. And let's go ahead in our function. Right here, we're going to go ahead and put in 1 plus 4, and then 1 minus 6. We're going to have to simplify this out. and then find our value for a. We have 1 plus 4 is 5. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. So 5 times negative 5, that'll get us negative 25a, and that's equal to 25. And if I divide both sides by negative 25 right here, a is equal to negative 1. So finally, let's put this all together. I've got y is equal to a. We could put negative 1, or we could even just put negative right here. And then I have x plus 4 times x minus 6. All right, everything looks like it works out well. If I take, once again, each of these binomials, set it equal to 0, you'll be able to get negative 4 and positive 6. My a term, which is out in front, which is negative 1, or just the negative in front, which will represent negative 1, will show that it is a reflection across the x-axis, and it is going downwards, as you can see right there in number 5. Next up, let's take a look at one more problem for this section, and let's try number 7. Okay. So it says that the x-intercepts of negative 5 and 8 passes through point 1, 84. So remember, if these are the x-intercepts, one of them is p, the other one is going to be q. So now think about, how am I going to get negative 5 and positive 8 for my equation? So if I have y is equal to a, and then I have x, if I plug in x minus 5 right here, and I set that equals 0, x will be positive 5. But that's not what I want. I need negative 5. So the correct number for p is going to be 5, positive 5, and we got x plus 5. And then we're going to go ahead and put x minus 8 for our setup. Lastly, we go ahead, we plug in x and y based off of the point that is on the actual parabola itself. So we have 84 is equal to a. 1 plus 5, 1 minus 8. We'll simplify it. We'll solve this out right here. And so I got myself 5 plus 1 is 6. And we have ourselves 1 minus 8 is negative 7. So negative 7 plus, or times positive 6, that'll get us negative 42. So I have 84 is equal to negative 42a. We'll divide both sides by negative 42. And a is equal to negative 2. So the last step right here is to come up with our entire function. Y is equal to our a value, which is negative 2. And then we go ahead and put x plus 5, the quantity, and then x minus 8. And there is your actual equation in intercept form as well. All right, we'll see you next time for 2.4b.